Hello and welcome back. I'm Shelf Unit and this is my continuing Let's Play of Civilization 2. You may notice in the background I've got a little bit of music on. I searched YouTube and should be the PlayStation Civilization 2 soundtrack, or one of them. I figure it's quite nice. So we'll have that on in the background. I'm not sure about the sound levels. I think they should be okay. But we'll see after this episode. Okay, let's discover who is in this island. And it's the Russians. Huh. Sioux have completed Sun Tzu's War Academy, the Sioux for Sun Tzu. And the Russians have abandoned it. And the Russian capital has moved to Sverdlovsk. Hastings has built a bank, which is good. Oh, as you see, our money is massively zooming up now. And I'm going to build a lot of cash, but I'm going to build a coastal fortress there since that's covered by Adam Smith's. That won't cost me anything to what's the word? Maintain? It's my city info. There's my city info. Okay. And we've just discovered a huge Russian enclave here. Let's take down a boat. We've destroyed 3 units. This is huge. So let's take these guys across to Coventry and start irrigating and explore up here. So that's the second unit there done. So city walls again. I'm going to disband that unit in there. They'll be virtually ready next turn. Fortify. Coventry's built a marketplace. It's not great, but better than it could be. I'm going to build coastal fortress there because that won't cost me anything to maintain. Nottingham's built a bank. Another coastal fortress, I think, to protect against any possible invasions. City walls again. Everything's geared for defense. Irrigate again here and here. You can only irrigate isometrically connected areas, so I couldn't irrigate here, for example, in this square because none of the 4 directly connected squares attached to it have been irrigated or have access to water. Let's disband that unit there. Now the Coyote's been fortified. Goodness me, they've got a huge enclave out here. I don't know whether this is anything to do with what they naturally had or whether they get it if they were respawned or something, but okay. This could be quite large. Warwick's built a library to increase its science production even more. I'm going to build a marketplace down there now. And we've discovered democracy. Democracy is a ruling system where the citizens have a great deal of control over the actions of the government, either directly or through elected representatives. Democratic governments can be traced back to the city-states of ancient Greece and Rome. Citizens would gather in a public forum, and each one would have the opportunity to speak and vote on issues affecting the community. This direct democracy system was possible due to the relatively small populations of the city-states. Starting in the 17th century, the monarchs of Europe began to be stripped of their absolute power. By the end of the 19th century, citizens had a strong voice in government in many European nations. Large populations made public forums impractical, so the people elected groups of representatives to carry their views to the ruling powers. Strictly speaking, this type of system more closely resembles a republican system than a true democracy. This type of representative democracy is considered the best governing system in the modern world because of the personal and economic freedom enjoyed by the citizens. And there's conscription. Do I want democracy? Let's have a look. Government types. We are currently under monarchy, which means that 3 military units can institute martial law. We have moderate rate of corruption. What does a democracy give us? Each unit costs 1 shield per turn. Settlers are 2. Every unit that is not in a friendly city or fortress within 3 squares of a friendly city causes 2 citizens in its home city to become unhappy. No corruption or waste in a democracy. Ha ha ha! Yup, whatever. Tax, luxury, and science. Any level desired set. Under a democracy, every square that ordinarily produces at least 1 trade produces 1 extra. Cities in a democracy, units and cities are immune to bribery, and we may force a peaceful solution. Increasing your luxury rate and building improvement. Some wonders can help alleviate unhappiness. So, how are we doing in terms of units? Well, we've got this unit. I'm gonna switch to democracy just to see what it's like. And let's see how we fare. I like the idea of the amount of extra trade that we will be getting. Let's build city walls here now that they've built. I'm going to go down and I'm going to sleep them there. Kiev has now got that, so we'll build city walls there. Moscow's built a temple. What have we got in Moscow? What can we do? We're getting under a democracy though. We'll have a lot better things. So library. Let's see. Is this passage between 2 continents? What's Coventry have? Okay, let's go irrigate here. Build a road here now. And we're going to go to democracy. Discoveries every 3 turns. I can make it every 2 turns, but at a lot of cost. Let's set it the lowest tax rate possible so that we can always up it later. I am now the Prime Minister. And let's irrigate both of these places. Now we might as well build a road across here because why not? Tbilisi has city walls. Okay, I see what it means now. Every unit takes... Okay, well, looks like we'll be building a temple then. So this massively reduces our production ability. Okay. Okay. So we've got unhappy people there. We've got unhappy people there. So let's see how that works for our various cities. Let's see what York is doing. Okay, so York is fine because we've now got lots of happy people. We would have had an awful lot of unhappy people. Temple in Michelangelo's chapel has transformed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 unhappy people into content citizens. The boat being out has produced 2 unhappy citizens, but the luxuries have produced 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 happy people. And I think it's okay if you've got more happy people than unhappy people. Check with Hastings. Again, 6 happy people. Okay, well, we'll see what happens. Irrigate there. And do more things. Orders restored in Canterbury and Hastings, and Minsk has built city walls. Let's build a temple there now. Orders restored in Nottingham and York. Okay. Life is good. And there's another civilization there. Canterbury's now got a marketplace. It's good. Let's build a coastal fortress because it's right by the sea, and we've discovered Leonardo's upgrade all musketeers to riflemen because we've discovered conscription. Compulsory enrollment in the armed forces has been practiced for thousands of years. In ancient Greece, before the introduction of a professional militia in about 2000 BC, men between the ages of 17 and 60 were obligated to serve in a civilian militia. The modern form of conscription was introduced in France during the Revolution in 1789. By the 19th century, nearly every country except for Great Britain and the United States had instituted a program of peacetime conscription. Many of the combatants in both world wars fought with forces composed largely of conscripted troops. The U.S. Selective Service Act of 1948 maintained peacetime conscription following World War II. This act, which was to have expired in 1950, was extended due to the Korean War. Peacetime conscription in the United States continued until 1973, at which time military service became voluntary. Okay, my goal now is communism. I need physics for that, because communism in this game actually works. So, each unit beyond the third produced will cost 1 shield. Settlers eat 1 food per turn. Martial law can be done. No corruption. All spies are veterans. Use your powerful spies to steal technology from the capitalist pigs. But we'll see. We'll see. Fundamentalism is essentially what I'm going to end up at, because once you've discovered every technology, you don't need science anymore. And no citizen is ever unhappy, which means you can build infinitely sized cities. Each unit beyond the 10th costs 1 shield per turn, which means that you can have massive warlike unit expansion available to you, low corruption. Science is halved, doesn't matter because there'd be no science left. Any improvements such as temple, Colosseum, and the any other things that would produce unhappy citizens to content provide me extra money. And because I'm known to be uncouth and barbaric, any terrorist acts committed by my diplomats and spies is reduced. Yeah, it's a great one. But for now, we're going to continue with democracy, I think. If I need to, I will do more things and different things. The boats at the minute are the ones causing me problems. Okay, Germany is being invaded by barbarians. York has built its bank. This is good news. But for the production, we are really, really slow. I'm going to build a coastal fortress there, because I'm just probably unnecessarily, but definitely am afraid of getting invaded by people. Okay, irrigate there. Wow, this is really close land. Oh, it's not even close. These are huge bays. Huh. Am I still at war with the Russians? I think I am. I'm going to just load them on there though. Wow, huge. Oh, we've discovered physics. Physics is the study of many forms of matter and energy and of the way they interact with themselves and each other. A number of ancient races made observations about certain aspects of physics, such as planetary motion, but were unable to develop theories as to the reasons for these motions. Some of the earliest applications of physics were by the Greek mathematician Archimedes, who applied physics to create such devices as levers and screws. It was not until the 17th century that experimental methods and scientific measuring devices led to a true understanding of many fundamental physical laws. Early scientists such as Johannes Kepler and Sir Isaac Newton began to disprove the theories of the ancient Greek philosophers and scientifically proved their theories concerning the laws of physics. Discoveries in physics rarely have direct application, however. They do provide a basic understanding of the laws governing the universe, thus forming the basis for practical advances in technology. Atomic theory, I think. Next. Will help me advance. Okay, let's irrigate here now. Let's irrigate finally there. And let's uncover all of this. Nottingham's built a coastal fortress. What can we build there? Tax for 12, so that will mean stock exchange. Maybe come in handy. Let's continue to move along now. That forest, what is it producing? It's producing a food and 2 shields. What could it produce? Trade or shields? So irrigation, I'm going to transform it to grassland. And that involves very long transformation. What's this? That's a little island. Interesting. Yep, Germany's been blasted by barbarians, which helps my area very nicely. Minsk is built. Ooh, wow. It's a lot of things. Okay. So the temple's there. I'm going to build an aqueduct straight away because you're growing rapidly. Can I get cities on here, I wonder? Now, I'm going to transform that as well. And this here too. All into grassland. Tbilisi's now building temples. A change there. There, I'm going to build a harbour. I don't have a harbour? Oh, because I'm not right next to it, which is unusual. Well, there, I'm going to build barracks just because I can. We've discovered atomic theory. Philosophers in ancient Greece were the first to use the term atom to describe the smallest possible bit of matter. They hypothesized that all things were made up of atoms and could be theoretically broken down into atoms. The atom, however, was indestructible. The study of atomic theory proceeded slowly. Experimental scientists of the 16th and 17th centuries developed methods of analyzing gases, liquids, and solids to determine the individual elements of which they were composed. The founder of modern atomic theory was the British chemist John Dalton. Dalton's experiments explained how atoms link together to form molecules. He also explained the nature of these chemical bonds and performed a number of experiments concerning the formation of various chemical compounds. Ooh, magnetism. That will get me a upgrade, I believe, from Leonardo's workshop. We've completed Magellan's expedition. What can I change to now? Got a huge surplus. going to build Shakespeare's Theatre in there. Moscow's built a library, which is good, increases my science. And I'm going to build a coastal fortress because I just don't want to be invaded, because I just like to be safe. I don't feel safe until I've got every single possible defensive advance, including the SDI, to prevent against nuclear attacks, which everybody will use. Wow, that's quite a big island. Novgorod's built city walls. Change that to a temple now to make sure that they are going to be kept in check. There's actually a really big island down here. Irrigate there. This is Aztecs have landed. People are not ready. Yeah, well, no peace. The Senate has overruled me. I hate democracy. They're weak, but they're advanced. They're very advanced. That's because they've got a republic. Hastings has built its coastal fortress. Got a lot of trade, so I'll build a stock exchange there. And blue, I think, are they the Chinese? This is an enormous island. Yeah, they've got the Great Library. And electricity will get rid of that. And there we go. Leonardo's workshop upgrades all caravel to galleon. Discovered magnetism. The phenomenon of magnetism was known to the ancient Greeks, Romans, and Chinese. They observed that lodestone, an iron-bearing ore, attracted other iron. They also noted that pieces of iron that came into contact with lodestone gained magnetic properties as well. The electromagnetic force of attraction and repulsion between various substances is due to the motion of positively and negatively charged electrons. Every magnet has a positive and a negative side, called poles. Poles with a like charge repel one another, and poles with opposite charges attract one another. Study of magnetic phenomena soon showed that a free-floating magnet aligns itself with the Earth's magnetic field. One pole of the magnet pointing north, the other south. This was an important discovery and led to the invention of the compass in the early 13th century. Funnily enough, that's where we are. The use of the compass revolutionized sea travel by reducing the reliance on landmarks and stars for navigation. Electricity will get rid of the Great Library, which I want. So let's get rid of the Great Library to help prevent other civilizations from getting our advantages. Yeah, this civilization is a really good game for educating yourself on history. It might not be perfect, but it's about as good as it's going to get. So we are still the happiest civilization in the world. The Zulus are the weakest. The Russians are still in play. Aztecs, Chinese, Sioux, and Germans. Edo's now built city walls, so I can change that to a temple. We Love the Prime Minister Day, celebrated in York. Yay! I don't know what that means exactly, but I think that's when you've got more happy people than unhappy people, or more than half your city is happy. And I think that just increases your... I don't know what it does, actually. Exit. Let's see what Civilopedia says. Game concepts. Maybe. Civilopedia. No idea. Sadly, I shall have to wait to a different time. This is an enormous continent. Okay, let's just quickly see if there's any barbarian villages in there. There are not. Nottingham now requires sewer system. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 squares now because of Magellan's expedition and the fact that it's a slightly upgraded city. Now I'm going to have to ask the Aztecs to move because they're in the way of Coventry. They're blocking this square and I don't like it. Advisors, Foreign Minister, Aztecs and emissary. People are not ready. Assist you withdraw your troops. Now it's war. Of course it is. Activate unit closely screen and boom, take them down. Four, 5, 6. Russians wish to talk to me. No, your people. Yep, we're going to accept the cease. We're going to provide a ceasefire and a permanent peace treaty. And excellent. Coeda now has city walls, so we can build a temple there. Canterbury can fortify. And we are no. The Russians are now going to start recolonizing my area, no doubt. Yashuk has built city walls, that can be templeized. Now we've discovered electricity. Cancels the effect of the Great Library. And we can build destroyers now in the year 1270. That's incredible. The phenomenon of electricity in the forms of lightning, static electricity, and magnetism has been witnessed by humans since the dawn of time. Electricity was not seriously studied, however, until the 17th century. Early electrical pioneers studied various electrical phenomena and built devices to both generate and to measure electrical charges. In 1892, the electron theory was advanced by Hendrik Antoon Lorentz, a Dutch physicist. This theory, which explains electricity as a reaction between positively and negatively charged electrons, formed the basis for modern electrical theory. Based on Lorentz's work, early engineers such as Thomas Edison pioneered methods allowing the widespread use of electricity as a power source. Okay, let's do annotation, because I want to get a sewer system ready for London once it has completed its Shakespeare's Theatre, which it should be doing soonish. We've got plenty of surplus now because of all the irrigation. Okay, let's take this on another voyage of discovery. Good Lord, is this going to go further around? They've got a lot of cities out there. Novigrad's built a temple. It's got a lot of science, so we can build the library there. Tbilisi has built a barracks, because at the time they really didn't have much else to build. And we can build a library there now too. Odessa's built city walls, which means we can temple there straight away. Minsk has now built an aqueduct. And I'm going to build a harbour there as well, I think. Just to boost that population up. London requires a sewer system, but we can't build it yet because we haven't got the technology, but that's what I'm researching now. Let's carry on exploring around here. Warwick also, Kiev builds a city wall, which means a temple can come in there. York requires this, that, and the other. Quite a nice little bit of land the Russians have acquired over there. Now we've discovered sanitation, which is the sewer systems. I will go back and that we should get the steam engine now. Get the technologies and what did we just get? Sanitation. Oops. Allow us to build sewer system. The increased waste produced by growing populations over time eventually led to potential health hazards. It then became necessary to come up with systems to dispose of garbage and human waste in a sanitary manner. Plumbing systems designed to remove wastewater from dwellings and public buildings became commonplace, as did sewage plants which treated the wastewater before it was dumped into local waterways. Landfills were established and garbage was collected for sanitary disposal in dumps and landfills a safe distance from the general population. These measures led to a healthy environment and allowed for further population growth. Okay. Really, right now I'm just hunting for barbarian villages with that ship, and this ship I'm just exploring with. Nottingham requires. Edo's built a temple. What can we build in Edo? It's got a surplus of 3. So I'm going to build an aqueduct there. Moscow builds a coastal fortress, which is good. What can I build there? I think a harbour. We've got a surplus of 4, and they've reached topped out on citizens already, so I'll build an aqueduct before the harbour. Wow, they literally just found. I mean, they were here, and now they're all the way over here. So they've done an awfully good job of getting out. I'm wondering whether they did it via boat or whether they literally just walked the settlers along, or walked troops along here and found some settlers or an advanced tribe. But either way, it's pretty impressive. So let's just see this little island grouping. Aztecs have developed chemistry. When you've got established an embassy with the another civilization, they'll give you occasional updates on what that civilization is doing. Coventry's built a coastal fortress. We've got a harbour there. We've got an aqueduct there. Got a marketplace there. Let's build a university there. It's going to take a long time, but okay, just build a temple. That's a surplus of only 2. Let's build a harbour there. And let's just carry on exploring across the bottom of the poles, which there's another spur from underneath. London built Shakespeare's theatre. We love the Prime Minister. Now we've also discovered steam engine. Everything's good. Description. Steam engine is a device that uses steam to generate power. Water heated by burning fuel, usually coal or wood, turns to steam. Steam is contained in a chamber where it builds up pressure, causing a piston to move. The piston drives a turbine, rotation of which produces power which can be used for such purposes as producing motion or generating electricity. The early principles of this device were understood as early as the late 17th century. But it wasn't until 1769 that the Scottish engineer James Watt patented a practical design for what was to become the basis for the modern steam engine. The invention of the steam engine led to a number of landmark developments, including the steam locomotive and the earliest examples of automobiles. Steam engines remained the chief means of motive power in the transportation industry until the invention of the more powerful and compact internal combustion engine. Steam turbines are still in use today in a number of applications, including the generation of electrical power. So, railroad, I think, should be my next one, because I want to get onto the Darwin's Voyage. So, we've got so many wonders of the world in here now. A change from Shakespeare's theatre. A quickly build sewer system. I want the Eiffel Tower. I'm going to build a sewer system in there. I might purchase that actually after a turn of doing it. Encyclopedia, tell me what Shakespeare's theatre does. All unhappy citizens in city are content. So that means that I can have literally any number of people in there. It's a perfect city to just grow and grow and grow now. So many different land spurs just coming out of the South Pole. Canterbury's got its fortress. What can we build there? A lot of science, a lot of tax. Let's build a university. I just want those discoveries coming in hard. Let's go to City London again. We can buy it for just 200 gold. So I'm going to get it done quickly. Aztecs have got iron working for the Chinese. That was the Chinese in the blue. And the Chinese and Aztecs have signed a peace treaty. Usually, if you're very early on and you have different scientific advances between two civilizations when you meet, you'll exchange them and then sign a peace treaty. So, yep, Chuk has built a temple. That just flicked off quickly. Minsk has built a harbour. So I'm going to change that to, yep, they've now got enough surplus, to a library. Getting a lot of science in there. London builds its sewer system. It's got pollution coming in now. And I want the Eiffel Tower. I'm going to stop there for this time. So thank you ever so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please subscribe. If not, don't worry about it. We've done a fair amount. We've done a lot of exploring. Ooh, barbarians coming along there. Hopefully get Russians. We've taken out the Japanese. We've done a lot of different things. So, thank you for watching and see you next time. Goodbye.